It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, August 27th. The boys are back in town. Well, we actually didn't go anywhere, did we? No. We're just here. We're still around.
Hanging about.
How about the boys are still in town? That wouldn't have sounded as exciting for thin. Have you heard that new song, The Boys Are Still in Town? Still? They never left?
Yeah,
but the boys are back in town? Hold on. Now that is exciting.
As a small town kid, I always wanted to be the boys are back in town because the boys that never left town were the ones, they had that corner bar stool. They were working on about a 43-year drunk.
Oh, the guys that peaked in 11th grade, not 12th. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know those guys.
Just wedged there into the bar.
Yeah.
Real quick, Oasis confirmed that they are touring next summer for the first time in 15 years. The Gallagher brothers. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot in the States, but in the rest of the world, it's huge. If they go out and don't open with the boys are back in town, then I will have lost all respect. That should be the opener to the set. What, are you kidding me?
I'm going to email their fan page today.
Do it, Zeb. Do it. But right now, we've got other business to tend to. Let's look in our own backyard for the top 5 at 6. Here we go to get your day off on the right foot. Preston, Minnesota. Hey, Preston, you little southeastern Minnesota village. 120 degrees yesterday, the heat index in Preston, Minnesota.
That's a national catastrophe.
That sounds like I'm saying Prescott, Arizona, when you say 120 degrees, but no, Preston, Minnesota.
It got so hot there, people started taking off their hoodies.
Holy smokes. There's no way they have enough beds in that hospital. So what you have was the dew point, 86 degrees. All I know about the dew point is you don't want it near 86 degrees.
No.
I read about it every year. Like, what does it actually mean? It just means it's hotter than hell.
70 is uncomfortable. Yeah. In Minnesota, 70 is unbearable almost.
Dew point 80. Dew point 86 degrees. So it felt like, as I said, the heat index 120. The record dew point here in the Twin Cities, 82 degrees. There was a summer of 2011, apparently it was cooking here in Minnesota because apparently that's when a lot of these records were set, including Moorhead. On that same day that the Twin Cities hit an 82-degree dew point, Moorhead had a heat index of 130 degrees.
That's when you got to use your windshield wipers and it's not raining. You know?
Yeah, there's nothing good about it. I took a brief walk yesterday and then went, oh, wait, what am I doing?
Right.
This is awful.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Number 4 on your top 5 at 6, Golden Valley and Maple Grove. Better get to that Red Lobster quick. You got till... Well, I don't know when, like August 20. Well, put it this way. They're closing both Golden Valley and Maple Grove. We announced that Red Lobster had filed for bankruptcy, but was keeping those open a few months ago. But now, still going to have a location in Minneapolis, Bloomington, Roseville, Maplewood. There's a few around, but Maple Grove and Golden Valley. Sorry, guys, you're on limited time.
There goes my best dad joke ever.
Which is
when the girls and I would often frequent Red Lobster, for the holidays, birthdays, that sort of thing.
Nice.
Christmas Eve. All the big ones because it's fine dining. I would always say when the server came up, I'd say, "I'll have the Red Lobster." No one ever laughed.
No,
still aren't. Thank you.
Come on.
Got the studio audience on that one.
What's wrong with these people?
Love the Red Lobster.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 6, Anthony Edwards, basketball player, Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm a huge fan, and I love the man's game, and I think he's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And with that said, I give him a wide berth because you know what? When you're young and have the world at your fingertips, you're going to say some stupid crap occasionally. Anthony Edwards talking to the Wall Street Journal, talking about the old school NBA. The old school. I'm not talking Jerry West. I'm talking Magic, Bird, like 80s NBA.
I was thinking Bill Chamberlain.
He said, here's a quote. They say it was tougher back then than it is now, but I don't think anybody had skill back then.
Ooh.
Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. You know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill. Okay.
Wow.
Back away from the back away from something there, Ant-Man. Magic Johnson, a basketball player of note, was asked by Stephen A. Smith what he thought. What was his response to those comments? And here's Magic.
Anthony Edwards just said the other day that there really wasn't any skilled players in the NBA back in the day outside of Michael Jordan. Your response to that, Irvin Magic Johnson?
I don't never respond to a guy that's never won a championship.
There you go.
That's what it comes down to.
Slam.
He didn't win a college championship.
Right.
I don't know if he even won a high school championship. So...
Yeah, that's the point of the game, by the way.
Have a seat, youngster.
Championships. Oh, by the way, also, it's funny to say Magic Johnson wasn't skilled. He sure as hell wasn't an athlete. Slowest guy on every court he ever played on, and he has a vertical of like 4 inches.
Yeah.
Like he's 6'9", so yeah, occasionally Magic Johnson is no one's idea of supreme. A great ball player and a brilliant basketball player, but no skill. Get out of here! You could outrun him on the court.
That smile would just freeze his opponents.
Pretty much. Hey, by the way, real quick, Midway. What's up over there in Midway? When I say over there, I mean right outside our back door. Midway, technically St. Paul, but I just call it right over there.
Yeah.
I just want to say good morning to everybody in Midway.
Former home of Pants Plus.
Really?
Is that right?
That's right.
Tony Lee's very own Pants Plus experience.
Former home of Midway Stadium, which is where the St. Paul Saints got started, the modern era, and played over there. And the last show of the Replacements. Last show the Replacements played was at Midway Stadium. And since they were tearing down the stadium, after the show, a bunch of middle-aged weirdos like myself tore down the stadium.
What'd you take?
Anyway.
What'd you steal?
I got a Jersey Mike's sign, which then I got about a block away, and I just handed it to some kids.
Course,
I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Right above your bed.
The thrill is gone. It lasted a block. Well, good morning, Midway. Glad to have you with us. Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. How about some good news? How about a Boundary Water German Shepherd goes missing up in the area, Boundary Waters canoe area. Dog car crash a few months ago. Dog jumps out of the car crash, gone into the woods. 55 days later, we got some good news.
All right, check this out.
A 6-year-old German Shepherd is back with her owners tonight after the adventure of a lifetime.
The dog was lost in the Boundary Waters canoe area for 55 days. But thanks to a Minneapolis man, she was found safe and sound. Our Maury Glover shows us how a nonprofit that helps families find their missing dogs came to Leslie's rescue.
Leslie bolted after the car she was in with one of her owners ran into a wall and flipped on the Gunflint Trail just north of Grand Marais at the end of June. About a month later, she was spotted on the east side of Ham Lake, about 3 miles from the accident scene. And a man from Minneapolis who knows the area volunteered to camp there for a few days to see if he could find Leslie and bring her home. The camper put some food and a trail cam behind his campsite, and it caught Leslie on camera the very first night.
Hey.
Little by little, he convinced her to trust him, and by the 4th day, he was able to feed her by hand and eventually put a leash on her and walked her out of the woods to be reunited with her owners. The retrievers believe Leslie survived on a diet of fish guts and moose poop.
Nice. Nice. Let me tell you something. You bring Chauncey to me after 55 days and say, thank God he was eating moose poop. You know what I'd say? You can keep him.
It's got that moose poop breath.
We've already made peace with his ultimate destination. Sorry. Moose poop, no thanks.
That's a heaping helping.
That's just me. Number 1 on your top 5 at 6. Last night, 97,000 people across the state were impacted by power outages. That storm was a mother right there.
Yellow washer.
Twins game, obviously. Everybody was racing for the concourse.
Taylor was there.
Oh, yeah, right.
She texted me. I said, how's the Twins game? Just as I'm in Golden Valley, and it's just ripping through. She said, not bad. Sirens keep going off, and I texted her back, you might want to grab some cover. There's a good one coming your way.
It was a banger. We were sitting at home, just watched it roll in, and of course, the highlight of all big storms, watching the people who are out jogging. No longer jogging, but running, like sprinting. That's always a good time. All right, there's your top 5 at 6. The Outlaw Music Festival at the Somerset Amphitheater, September the 6th. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp. Oh, look at that. Some tickets. And right now, we would love to see if one of our wonderful listeners might scoop these tickets up. Ryder was out at the fair the other day, our roving fair reporter, Ryder, and she was hanging out with a bunch of listeners and talking and grilling them for more information. And Ryder, what exactly is this? You were asking people all kinds of personal questions.
Not too personal. So we chatted with some people that were hanging out at the KQ Outdoor Lounge at the corner of Cooper and Lee, and then the final question we ask is, what's the first thing that you ate or drank at the fair? If our lovely contestant can guess that, they will upgrade from Heydays passes, a 4-pack, to Heydays Grass Drag, September 7th and 8th in North Branch. You'll upgrade to Outlaw Music Festival tickets. It's real tough, but yeah, these are some great tickets, though, so you got to earn it.
This is exciting. So who do we have on the horn as we speak, everybody?
Well, our lovely contestant, as Ryder said, is Frank from Cheska.
Frank, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, brother. Favorite band all time, who is it?
Favorite band? Bob Marley.
Oh, nice. All right. Favorite team, any sport?
San Diego Padres.
Wow.
Favorite
Did not expect that combo. Fair enough. All right, so you already have a 4-pack of tickets to Heydays Grass Drags, which is a blast. But we are going to give you the chance, as you heard, to upgrade to the Outlaw Music Festival. Okay, good luck. Ryder's going to play a little audio for you, and then we'll ask you the question of the day. Let's have it.
What's your name and where are you from?
Peggy from Robbinsdale.
Peggy, what do you do for work?
I clean houses.
Do you have any kids, and if so, what are their ages?
I do not have any kids.
Lucky you. What was the first concert you went to?
Bob Seger.
Who's your favorite band?
Zach Brown.
What's your favorite team? Any sports?
Twins.
Did you ever steal anything from your parents?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Do you remember what it was?
Cigarettes.
What was the first thing that you ate or drank when you got to the fair today?
All right, Frank, what do you think the answer is?
Corn dog.
All right, let's see.
Strong.
What was the first thing that you ate or drank when you got to the fair today?
We had the deep fried ranch.
You did?
Yeah, we did.
Did you like it?
We did.
Man.
How trendy.
Yeah, really. Corn dog's a solid bet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked that they were so trendy because they thought I was going to bust them for smoking behind the outdoor lounge when I walked up to them.
Oh, my God. That's what the back of the outdoor lounge is for. Lighten up, having a good time, and occasionally a good cry. Right, Ryder? I mean, when you're having one of those days at the fair.
Damn straight. Lively up yourself. Frank, nice effort, brother, but I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry. You got a 4-pack of tickets to Heydays Grass Drag, September 7th and 8th in North Branch. Thank you for playing, brother. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You got it.
It's just up in North Branch, testing out the grass up there. It's mighty fine.
Nice.
Probably better on a snowmobile than a dirt bike these days, but yeah, Heydays, that's a wild time. It's been some years since I've been up for that party.
You can find Steve Gorman in the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts, anytime you want. Sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. This would be a perfect time to look back. On this day, August the 27th, 1921, the owner of Acme Packing Company bought himself a pro football team for Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Hey, now.
J.E. Clare, paying tribute to those who worked in his plant, named the team the Green Bay Suckholes. No, I'm sorry, the Green Bay Packers. That's when it all began. On this day in 1982, Ricky Henderson of the Oakland A's, he was 23 years old. He stole his 119th base of the season in a loss to the Brewers. That broke Lou Brock's major league record set 10 years before. Henderson finished the year with 130, broke the all-time record, 938 steals. He's got a lot of great quotes. Ricky Henderson loved to refer to himself as Ricky.
Oh, yeah, third person.
But my favorite quote of his, once you can accept failure, you can have fun and success.
Oh.
It's a good point.
All right.
On this day,
story of that could be my unofficial autobiography title.
That's why you're having so much fun.
Hell yeah.
On this day in 2019, Jessie Combs, known as the fastest woman on 4 wheels, setting a land speed record for a woman out in the Oregon desert. The front wheel of her rocket car failed, and she crashed at 550 miles per hour.
Damn.
Think about that for a second. 550 miles per hour and the front wheel dismantled. She was killed as instantly can kill.
Well, I mean, I guess that's... If you're going to go, instantly would be the way to go.
On the ground. Whew, baby.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 27th. Good morning. And I want to say especially good morning right in our literal backyard, Dinkytown. What's up, Dinkytown?
Well, Dinkytown.
Yeah, man. I mean, don't forget don't overlook Dinkytown.
No, I never do. I drive through each morning hoping that a firework won't be shot up my tailpipe.
Yeah, so far so good. I first heard of Dinkytown decades ago in an article about Bob Dylan, and I was like, Dinkytown?
Yeah.
That sounds like something I need to know about.
Yeah.
And then never, all the times I was ever in the area, never in Dinkytown until I came here for the first time.
Right.
About a year and a half ago. And I was like, so this is Dinkytown.
Here
Okay.
we are, sitting in Dinkytown.
I was like, here it is, and it's snowing like crazy. Okay, I'll just keep driving.
Yeah.
So I was afraid to stop. Anyway, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, August 27th. And you know what Tuesday is? In addition to being really the runt of the week. I mean, what is Tuesday for? It just sits there. It's just a placeholder. It's just trying to get you to hump day so you can feel better about the weekend approaching. So what we like to do is celebrate Tuesday in our own way. We have a lot of fun around here, but on Tuesday, no. It's time for Unfun Facts. Check this unfun fact out. Somebody did the math. They looked at the average person. If you live 71 years of life, they say, you know what? You're probably going to walk right past at least 16 murderers in your lifetime.
No, all right, well.
If you walk past 10 new people a day for 71 years, by the number of odds that is, you will be right by, shoulder to shoulder, walking right by at least 16 murderers. How about that?
A little fun fact, if you live in Minneapolis, you'll accomplish that by the age of 21.
See? You're
right. You're ahead of the curve.
If you're a go-getter, if you're a good go-getter, here's an unfun fact. There are face mites, not M-I-T-E, face mites. Mm-hmm. They live inside your pores, right next to your hair follicles. Oh. They eat your sebum. Sebum.
Yeah.
Sebum.
Swallowers.
Sebum is an oily substance that protects your skin from drying out.
Oh.
These mites do not have anuses.
Well, they're not crapping on our skin then.
And they come out at night. Why? So they can mate right there on your face.
Oh.
There's nothing you can do about it.
My face is a platform for romance.
Think about that.
I'm glad someone's getting lucky in my bed.
Tony, I see your face every morning, and I think, ooh la la.
Somebody had a good time this morning.
Tony Lee.
It's all that sebum, it's natural lube.
See, that's borderline fun, so we got to move on, because now it's taking a whole different turn.
Yeah.
How about this? It takes 8 pounds of pressure to tear off a human ear.
What? That doesn't sound like a lot.
It's not. That's the same force approximately equivalent to crushing a soda can.
What?
Not much. We can try it during the break.
A little embarrassed. I haven't tried it yet.
Boy,
I had
tearing
no idea.
off a human ear. Just didn't realize it was so simple. But I know what I'm doing next time I'm in a bar fight.
Yeah, Tyson knew
Tear that ear off.
Right for the ears. Here's an unfun fact. Oh, gosh. Speaking of our underwater friends, not that we have been, but we're about to. Dolphins often cut off the head of smaller fish, or they remove a head, and then they use it for self-pleasure.
Oh, come on. Really?
Dolphins.
They're so horny.
Dolphins are A, horny, and B, willing to take care of business themselves. And they use fish heads for masturbation.
Somebody's got all that plastic out in the ocean. Isn't there a fleshlight or two out there they could use? I don't. Why not?
And as long as we're talking about mammals in the ocean, whales don't die from old age. It's not like they just no. What happens is, you could say they do, but it's not as simple as all their organs just shut down. No, they simply lose the strength to pull themselves up for air. And therefore they slowly sink to the bottom and drown.
Oh, hell.
That's rough.
That is rough, but still better than having your head cut off by RFK Jr.
It's interesting.
I don't know.
Bobby Kennedy Jr., it's not enough that he dropped a black bear off in Central Park. Did you hear this? His own daughter, I love the name Kick Kennedy. What a name.
I kind of like it too, yeah. KK.
She told a story. By the way, Ben Affleck's new girlfriend, apparently.
What?
Just keeps making great decisions, that Ben.
Weird. Buddy, Ben and I should be hanging out. We should be writing a book.
Kit Kennedy, socialite, Kennedy, 9th generation, whatever. Her dad is Bobby Kennedy Jr. She said in an interview in 1994 or so, they were on Squaw Island in Hyannisport, Massachusetts, and they came across a whale, and that Bobby Kennedy cut off its head with a chainsaw. and then bungee corded it to the roof of the family's minivan to drive it back to New York. And this is her quote. Every time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car, and it was the rankest thing on the planet. We all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out. People on the highway were giving us the finger, but that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us.
I mean,
you cannot make this up.
Before there were the Kardashians, where were the TV cameras at? I mean, this is, or not even the Kardashians, Honey Boo Boo, who are those weirdos?
By the way,
this would have made for, here's why I don't respect it. Here's why I don't dig that. I love myself a good trophy, but you've got to take the animal yourself. With the bear, someone hit it with a car, right?
Yeah.
It was just a dead whale that washed up on its, that's, what do they call that?
Cheating?
Stolen trophies.
Yeah.
Stolen valor.
Yeah.
How about the fact that I did not know this until today? It's a felony to transport a marine mammal skull.
Uh-oh.
There's a felony charge that people are investigating.
I got to get out to the parking lot right now. What if it's a dolphin?
Well, that's a marine mammal, so I guess so.
The most sinister of all marine mammals.
No kidding, man. They're not playing games, those dolphins. How about this? Let's get out of the water, but let's keep it with the mammal kingdom, and let's go up cold. Polar bears are the only bear species that actively hunt and kill humans. A grizzly, he's surprised to see it.
Sure.
He freaks out. Polar bears, they put you in their sights.
Yeah,
they track you for miles up in the Arctic.
I can't begrudge them for that.
I can't either.
It's there's not a lot to eat first off up there, right? It's a frozen tundra.
If you're looking around a frozen tundra and there's just like the occasional otter or seal or something, occasional one, but then the orcas are knocking him off his little ice float. You look around, what do you see up there? I'm sure there's some sort of like mouse-like creature, and then you see a person walking. Yeah, you're gonna go get that sumbitch.
So I always keep some Coca-Cola in a bottle on me when I'm on the frozen tundra. Toss them a Coca-Cola. They love that stuff.
I've seen that. I saw that documentary. Oh, no, it was a TV commercial during the Super Bowl.
Damn it.
I knew it was something. If you find yourself in outer space, here's an unfun fact, and you fall into a black hole, you could actually see the start and end of the universe. You could finally get the answer to all the questions that smart people have thought to ask for years, but that confuse the hell out of me.
Yeah, but you can't, brag, you can't use it. You can't be a know-it-all at work the next day,
Nope, I know. That's the only problem. It's like the age-old question. If you could sit down with, say, the head of the CIA for an hour and ask him any question you wanted, and he had to tell you the truth, but you could never tell a living soul anything you heard, would you do it?
No.
I don't think I would either. I think it would drive me crazy to know all the actual answers.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
I'd rather know where your best fishing hole is at.
1,600 people have wandered into U.S. national parks for hiking or canoeing or other things and never been seen again. The number is 1,600.
They
really?
just found a cat up. Well, I can't believe I just called him a cat. He's dead, but he's been dead for decades. Up in Glacier National Park. First of all, they found a young man that had been missing for a couple of weeks, tragically. And then in the search for him, they found a hiker that has been missing since the 1970s up there.
Whoa.
Just some bones, obviously, in a backpack.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Here's an odd thing to think about. In 2017, a woman died, and she was the last person on Earth known to have been born in the 19th century.
Oh.
1899, she made it to 2017. I mean, that's 118 years old. Wow. That's pretty strong right there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's some good genealogy there, or whatever they call it.
That's exactly what it is. Here's an unfun fact. John Tyler was the 10th president of the United States. He died in 1862. His grandson is still alive.
What?
Weird.
His grandson is still alive and lives in Franklin, Tennessee.
How?
John Tyler died in, again, he was the 10th president of the U.S., 1841 to 1845. He predates Lincoln by 20 years as president. When he was a very, very elderly fella in the 1850s, he had a son. He sired a couple of boys in his 70s.
It was like Mick Jagger and Ronnie Wood.
They did the same thing in the 1920s when they were in their 70s. They had children, and one of those children is still alive.
About time for them to sire another.
John Tyler has a living grandson. He died in 1862.
Damn.
If you're John Tyler's grandson, can you just walk right up to the White House and go, yeah, Tyler's grandson, let me in? They have to let you in, right? You're the literal grandson of a U.S. president, albeit one from 20 years before the Civil War.
Your own key fob.
Yeah, do you get Secret Service protection?
I don't. There's what can they do? I mean, they just put him in a chair at this point. I think. Absolutely incredible. Finally, an ingredient in stained glass. In the old days, when they were first coming up with stained glass, one of the key ingredients was urine. So think about that next time you're on your knees with the incense going and you're like, this is the most beautiful church I've ever seen. Yeah, it's beautiful, all right, thanks to someone's pee.
Oh, all right.
Just saying. I mean, hey, you got to take the good with the bad, the yin and yang of life.
I thought it was the old people in church, that smell. Like I had no idea it was the stained glass. My bad. I apologize.
Hey, they weren't kidding when they called it stained.
Like, change your diaper before church.
No kidding. Hey, KQ up north with Hoffman Weber Construction. It's kicking off October 3rd. We will be up there from the 3rd through the 6th. Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. You can join us for a broadcast of the KQ Morning Show. We're going to have a karaoke party, a dinner cruise, live music, and a lot more. And it's going to be fun. No unfun up there. It's nothing but fun. Book your stay right now. Go to 92kqrs.com. This trip is sponsored by Hoffman Weber Construction and, of course, our friends at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. I believe we have reached peak wonderfulness as a human race.
All right.
Gravy wrestling. Yes, gravy wrestling.
I thought
Hang
you'd
tight.
never ask.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Tuesday, August the 27th. Hey, if you're heading out to the fair today, hold on a second. The opening of the fair has been delayed so they can clean up some debris and branches down and all sorts of stuff from last night's big storm that swept through.
Yeah.
Came in. It was gorgeous to sit inside the comfort of my home and watch. But if you were out in that storm, that was pretty precarious. I watched a few joggers, just like the misery on their faces as this thing came up because it did show up quickly.
Yeah.
Although we had plenty of warning. I mean, if you were surprised by that storm, you were clearly not paying attention.
Right. That was a big whopper that came in. Bigger than the one that came through this morning, that's for sure. But still, no word on when they're going to open it up. They're just doing some cleanup in there. Mm-hmm. Last night, it looked like quite a water park.
It did look like quite the water park. And the orange sky afterwards, though, if photos, everybody was posting pictures and videos. It was absolutely gorgeous. By the way, speaking of fair, what?
34 seconds ago, Minnesota State Fair closed until further notice as it assesses storm damage. Public told not to go to the fairgrounds.
Ooh.
That came out 34 seconds ago from the Minnesota State Fair.
Still saying no.
No, you're going to have to get your trucks out and cut through that front gate if you want to get in. I'm not suggesting or endorsing.
Not promoting.
No, don't do it.
Real quick, there's a Six Flags in Mexico City. Did you see this video? They had a storm rolled in over Six Flags in Mexico last week, and now a video's finally hit. They have the swing ride. Like you sit in the swings and go in a circle. Well, the one they have there goes really high. It's called the Sky Screamer. It's 240 feet off the ground.
Oh, that's horrible.
And as they are at that height, it stops because a barn burner of a storm rolls in, as if no one knew that was coming. And there's video of somebody on the right. They're looking down over the top of a huge roller coaster at a high level.
Pucker.
And what you see is just rain and hail and gray skies, and the wind is blowing everyone in their seats. It's just sitting there stationary.
And their tank tops and shorts.
Yeah, they're dangling
240 feet up.
Dangling for 10 minutes during a torrential downpour.
I bet it felt longer than that.
Nobody was injured. Everyone was freaked out, but there were no injuries. The storm got worse and worse. They finally brought it back down. And again, I'm just in the year 2024. The only thing you can be excused for being surprised by is an earthquake.
Yeah.
That's it. hurricanes, tornadoes, thunderstorms, even a gentle summer squall, you have at least a minute to prepare. And in that minute, you can hit a button that says, bring those people down from 240 feet.
I mean, we're doing an outdoor concert or show, something like that. Their lightning strikes 20 miles away and they clear the place, shut the show down.
Yeah, of course.
Whoopsie.
That's how that goes. When I was in college, I discovered something called instant gravy. I never knew such magic existed. You could just get a packet from the good people at McCormick and pour it in some hot water, and you had gravy. And I literally poured gravy. And when I realized I could make gravy, now granted, it wasn't quite like Mom's gravy, but hey, it did the job. I poured it on everything. I had a gravy renaissance because I was so excited at the prospect of having gravy. So this next one works for me. There's a pub in England that has every year the World Gravy Wrestling Championships.
Good gravy.
Come on, man. 528 gallons of gravy are used for this event.
What are we talking about? Beef gravy here?
It looks like beef gravy.
Dark gravy people are wrestling around in.
This is the Rose Bowl pub in Rossendale, Lancashire.
How do you know someone hasn't messed their pants in there? You'd know that in a pool. You'd know that in turkey gravy.
I have to assume they have. I'm just going to go ahead with that.
It's part of the intrigue.
Competitors show up in costumes, what they call fancy dress. You have to beat your opponent. It's a 2-minute long wrestling match in the brown gravy pool. And just picture the movie Stripes. Remember the first mud wrestling scene in Hollywood history? The first one that ever mattered. Well, just replace that mud with gravy and replace the bikinis with costumes, and you get a sense of what's happening.
God bless them.
Jello wrestling used to be a thing, in the 80s.
Jello wrestling,
I got to tell you, I look at these photos and it looks really ridiculous, but honest to God, I just think, God, I just would love to dip some potatoes in that gravy.
Feel kind of good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you're right.
I would kill it.
Gravy, good for the skin, I bet. From the outside, not from the inside out. Probably, I don't know, a little greasy, but.
There was some video yesterday from the fair. So the storm hits the fairgrounds. A lot of standing water in certain parts of the fairgrounds because it was so much water so quickly. The corn roast staff was caught by a local TV news camera. All the guys working at the corn roast were doing synchronized belly flops into the giant pools of water. Yeah. That's a good time. Take a break from roasting some corn and just belly flop your way down the road.
Yeah, the guys and the gals are out there. There's, 15 of them or so, and it's like a coordinated effort to do some belly flops. It did occur to me that it's in water sitting on the State Fair street. So it's probably, I'm back to the gravy. I don't know why I'm overthinking this. I typically don't get grossed out, but that's how the kids handle it. And then over there under the awning, you saw the oldsters just packed in, watching them like, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with those kids? What are they doing out there? That's crazy. They're having a good time at the fair. If you can't get out of it, get into it.
This reminded me of NBC, what was her name? Michelle Kaczynski. Remember in 2005, she was reporting from a hurricane, and she was in a canoe on the NBC News to explain how deep the water was in the streets, and then two dudes just walked by and the water's like knee deep. They didn't walk behind her; they walked between her and the camera. It was incredible.
And I think it wasn't the disgraced Matt Lauer or somebody that called her. I mean, he had to call her out as the guy goes walking by. It literally was. I don't even think the kayak she was in could be floating.
No,
that's how shallow the water was.
And that's one of those where you just go like, man, her producer was just like, sorry about that.
Yeah,
my bad.
Back to Moorhead with you.
You just did that on national television. My bad. I'm really not feeling good about that. Hey, here's some good news though, for Minnesotans. How about this? Just reading this map that shows how long you might live based on where you're born. There's about a 10-year difference in life expectancy between the longest and shortest life expectancy between U.S. states. And who is dominating the Midwest? If you are from the upper Midwest and you are born in Minnesota, congratulations. Your life expectancy is 78.8 years, ranking number 6 in the United States and number 1 in the upper Midwest, in the Midwest at all, in general. So you got that going for you. So we're feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah.
I feel good about 78.
Oh, my God. Really? Sounds like a long time. I don't have a plan for 78, you know. Where was I born? In Pennsylvania. I lived there till I was 4. 76.4 years.
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to shave a couple off that, but not bad.
I'm going over to Michigan, the land of me birth, 75.7 years. Okay. But now I'm in Minnesota. I think I can make some of that up on the back end.
Yeah.
This is the one that surprised me. Utah, 78 years. But then I guess it shouldn't surprise me because they're really not doing much. You're moving slow.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
You're just
it's a
chilling.
sedate life.
I just would have thought with all the radiation, you know.
And the inbreeding?
Yeah, there's that too. There's that too. The number one, let's see. I'm trying to find it, man. It's tough to see here, but somewhere in the Northeast, I guess. Let's see. Who's number one?
Have you checked
right.
Hawaii?
I'm sorry. Hawaii, 79.9 years. And then Massachusetts, number 2. I knew Massachusetts would be up there. Not surprisingly, and I say this as a gentleman who spent most of my life in the South, Alabama, West Virginia, and Mississippi are your shortest life expectancies. That checks out. So, Al, if you're from Mississippi, get to Hawaii quick. You got no time to waste. Go out to Hawaii and stay there.
I think people in Minnesota live longer. They just want to stick around and see if the Vikes can win a damn Super Bowl. You know, they will themselves. I'm going to get through one more season.
The number one state on the map is Massachusetts, and it's the same thing. That's why Red Sox fans were waiting 86 years. You know, the curse of the Bambino. They had to shake it off. Vikings fans. But you think about that when they finally do next year when J.J. McCarthy leads this team to a Super Bowl title, championship. Imagine how many people will finally say, "That's it. I can finally let go."
I might be one of them.
Yeah,
I might just let go.
That's it. What's left? Nothing's left.
It's all been done.
I don't want to live through something that a gentleman. That a gentleman in Thailand, by the way, there are photos. I'm really glad that we can't share those with you, has experienced in Thailand. He sat down on his toilet and he felt a sharp pain in his testicles.
Ooh. Oh.
We've all had that experience happen, and then we go to the doctor and get some penicillin, and everything's fine. No, this was a bite because a 12-foot python crawled up the pipes.
Son of a...
And saw daylight, and in between his pipe experience and daylight was someone's scrotum, and so he got a mouthful.
Hell no.
Oh. This is like my number one irrational fear is snakes up the toilet biting you in the privates. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say snakes biting you in your testicles. I was like, that is irrational.
I mean, did you...
I won't pee between, the western half of South Dakota because they've got those signs out that say rattlers are going to get you.
Well, they're not filthy pythons. They're not coming up the toilets. They're out there laying in the weeds or something like that. I don't know.
Well, it gets hot out there, man.
It does. A nice, cool toilet sounds like a place to cool off.
Yeah.
Crawl up the pipes. What? And so did he lose his nuts?
Here's the quote. I felt something biting my balls. It was very painful. So I put my hands in the toilet to see what was wrong. I was shocked that I grabbed a snake. The snake didn't budge, so he grabbed a toilet brush and began beating it in the head. That prompted the snake to release its fangs. And again, this was a 12-foot python.
Holy cow. So he was just hanging on for dear life.
Clomped on the testes.
There are photos. He was taken to a hospital to get a tetanus vaccine. Did not need stitches, thankfully. He's saying, the guy's quote was his final, "My testicles are safe now." Imagine having to say that ever.
Yeah.
By the way, my testicles are safe now.
I've said that after some relationships. Although, you know what? Now that you say it, Ryder, you talk about West River, South Dakota, rattlesnake territory. They have been known to end up in biffies.
There you go.
Yeah. And you don't want, I mean, it's just going to be pissed off in a biffy, but might be within striking range.
Not irrational then.
No. Well, where do you pee at in West River?
I don't. I just hold it all the way until I'm back on the other side.
Good girl.
Yes.
All right.
Days.
I can tell you this right now. The day I sit down on a toilet to take care of business and a snake comes up the pipes through that's my bowels they'll cease operations. I will immediately. You know what I would do, honestly? I would just make the switch right then to depends. I'd go right to it.
Just have the anus sewn shut.
I'd never get near a toilet again.
You're right. Yeah, maybe the depends is the way to go.
I would or unless there's a toilet that is always flushing. If you have a toilet that is constantly in a state of flush, I could sit back down on there.
We had a listener on last week, a caller that talked about squeezing a Havana into the urinal. Maybe I would just be that guy. I'd be that guy that just poops in urinals. It's not a cool thing to do, but better than a python grabbing you by the nuts.
There are a few things that wouldn't be better than a python grabbing you by the nuts.
What would be nice to have you grab your... Never mind. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, it's probably best to just leave that one alone.
I don't know. Something with a soft grip.
Oh.
Not too soft.
Hey, we got some Twins tickets that we need to discuss. They need a home, and I think it's about time we try to figure out where that home might be. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's classic rock. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August the 27th. Hey, the Toronto Blue Jays are coming to town this weekend, and we got tickets for Friday's game at Target Field, and we would love to give them away. Callers 9 and 2 right now at 651-989-ROCK. Callers 9 and 2 will have a chance to play for tickets to Twins and the Blue Jays this Friday at Target Field. Call. Get on board. We're going to play a fun game because that's kind of how we roll around here.
Yeah, we do.
You may have noticed.
I have noticed.
Want to say good morning to everybody up in Roseville.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Roseville.
Love me some Roseville.
Last time I was in Roseville, I watched and almost participated in a 4-car pileup on the highway.
Oh, really?
I saw boosh, douche, which involved 4 cars, and I was almost right there. I mean, if not for my cat-like reflexes, I would have been the 5th car in that pileup.
Was it a Bed Bath & Beyond going out of business sale?
It was. It was not that, but boy, if it had been, fun fact about me, I got lost at a Bed Bath & Beyond one time. I walked in thinking, oh, this would be great. And then like 3 hours later, they had to send in the authorities. I couldn't get out of that place.
Yeah, now that's a place where I used to just sit in the car. If I was seeing someone and they were going in to get something like you do at Target occasionally, because I knew when I went in there, I was going to see 1,000 things suddenly for the home that I wanted but didn't need.
I have been at Bed Bath & Beyond and gone and said, I need another cart.
Yeah.
Because I filled the first cart with crap I don't need.
Always find a better coffee maker there.
Yeah, no kid. Look at this corkscrew. I bet this thing works. I bet this is amazing.
But they're teed up now, right? They're not no longer in business, I don't think.
They're on the way. They're on the way out. If
Red Lobster, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Bed Bath and the Great Beyond is
I'm going to need this just in case I ever develop corns on my toes. I better have this weird thing at Bed Bath & Beyond. Just buying stuff I never in a million years ever knew existed, much less would ever need.
They had Harley-Davidson placemats, the things you put on your table, then you would put your plate on it and fork and all that stuff.
Yeah. You know how placemats work, yes.
All right, I didn't know. It was new to me. We did not have them in South Dakota. I had all my meals in the barn. But yeah, you're right.
Did you pick up a set?
I did pick up a set of, and I've never used them once. And finally, I just gave them to somebody. But I was like, when am I going to set out placemats? What, on the Yeti cooler that I use for a table in front of my couch?
You couldn't think of a fancy enough occasion for your Harley-Davidson placemat?
Because those are fancy.
They are. I've not made a meal for anyone in my life. My kids, I guess, maybe.
I have a rule about
Panera.
If I'm ever out, my placemat rule when eating out at restaurants is if the placemat is also your menu, then the meal's on me.
Oh, that's great. The Waffle House.
That's when I say it's on me, guys.
Hey, big spender.
Because I know that when the placemat and the menu are one and the same, that's a nice, affordable, economical meal.
I like it.
Hey, so Twins tickets, Blue Jays in town Friday night. Let's do this. We've got a game to play. Tony, what are we going to do today?
We're going to go on this fun romp. It's true. Ground zero for people watching music, activities, and taste sensations. The Great Minnesota Get-Together. Can't go out there just yet, but can you find these things there, or are they made-up fakey fakes? That's the game. Minnesota State Fair attraction or not?
Fakey fakes. I like fakey fakes. All right, let's do it. Who is contestant number 1?
Stepping up first is Steve from Northeast.
Steve, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
All is well on this end, brother. Give me your favorite band all time.
All time. Oh, boy, you're killing me. I struggle with that one. I'll go with...
there's no wrong answer, brother. Just give us one.
All right, I'll just go with Pearl Jam.
That's going to work. Hey, man, it's a happy anniversary. 10 came out on this day in 1991. Favorite team, any sport?
I'll never forget Lollapalooza.
Okay, but what's your favorite team in any sport?
My favorite sport or play?
Team.
Vikings.
Yeah, that'll work. Pearl Jam and the Vikings. I like it. All right, we are playing a game called Fair Attraction, State Fair Attraction or Not. Good luck, sir.
Sure.
All right, Steve-O. Lollapalooza. I remember it well. Number 1, the Fine Arts Building. State Fair Attraction or not?
Oh, that sounds like Art of World, but yes.
All right, indecisive Steve.
You are correct, sir.
Steve, number 2, Monty's Traveling Reptile Show.
Oh, yes, I remember that from being a youngster.
True that. Number 3, Spreadable European Rash Exhibit.
No.
Correct.
As much as we all want that to be real.
Well, very popular.
I'm chafing just hearing it.
Last I heard, you have to go to Tijuana to see that.
Steve, number 4 is the Super Tease the Coyote Go Round.
No.
Nope. The thought of it.
It ain't. Number 5, the Skylighter Sky Ride.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Number 6, Amber Heard hosts the Lake Nokomis Feces Toss.
No.
Nope.
Without hesitation, he said no.
Number 7, Riders Pabst Blue Ribbon Vomitorium for Charity.
No.
Correct.
Can we make that a real one? It's
Sure
for the
we
kids.
can.
Yeah.
It's not something at the fair, but I do think it happens in Uptown on occasion.
Yep.
And your last one is Tony Lee's Streak and Sprint Steak Bites.
No.
Oh.
Good job, sir.
I thought we were going to have him on that one.
I couldn't think of a more exciting way to get steak bites.
Right.
Steak bites than having Tony run them to you naked.
Steve, that is outstanding work. You went 8 for 8, which my math tells me is batting 1,000, brother. Wow. Very well played.
Woo!
All right.
Excited.
Sign me up.
We're going to put you on hold for a moment. It's time for contestant number 2. Tony, who we got?
Step up Hildy from Foley. Hildy from Foley.
Hildy, good morning.
Good morning.
Hildy, what's your favorite band ever?
I don't know if it's a band, but I'd have to say all-time favorite, Whitney Houston.
Okay.
All right, that'll work. And who's your favorite team in any sport?
Minnesota Wild.
The Wild. Whitney and the Wild from Hildy. All right, we're playing State Fair Attraction or Not. And I'm not trying to, turn up the heat underneath you, but Steve went 8 for 8, so we're going to need you to run the table here, Hildy. Good luck.
All right, no pressure.
You can do it, Hildy. Don't be intimidated. Number 1 is Ye Old Mill.
Yes.
Yes, it is. The old staple. Makeout Center. Number 2, flash fried sheep anal gland potato skins.
No.
Sounds good, though, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Sure enough. Number 3, the Space Tower.
Yes.
You're doing great. Number 4 is the hot sleeve of soup.
No.
Nope.
No, but I'd take one right now.
I know you would, Soup Boy. Number 5, Stages of Glaucoma Puppet Show.
No.
I mean, it's there, but that's not what it's called.
It's not popular. Number 6 is The Miracle of Birth.
Yes.
It is.
Wait,
You go to the birthing barn.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the birthing barn.
Time out. New guy in town. Really?
The birthing barn. You go over and watch all sorts of animals give birth, and women from up north, different things like that.
Now, am I supposed to? That's after I've eaten my weight in fried food and had 6 beers, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
You get the food and beer first, and then go to the birthing barn. Got it.
Sometimes you can jump in and help.
Okay.
The food and beer, you'll see the miracle of girth.
Oh my God.
I like
Make
to see
the
where
stroll.
the pigs are born, and then just go eat a lot of bacon. I'll see you in a couple of years, you little tasty son of a gun, you.
And what's it called? The miracle of birth.
The miracle of
Miracle
birth.
of birth.
Yes.
Wow.
Sure. You got to see it.
Okay, let's do it.
Hilda, 2 more. Number 7, the Brian Zepp Sweat Lodge.
No.
Correct. And your last one is the Gorman Museum of Unusual and Untimely Injuries.
No.
You've done very well.
Man.
I've been to that one recently.
Very strong. Hildy, 8 for 8. Steve, 8 for 8. We got ourselves a good old-fashioned Donnybrook going on here for these Twins tickets. All right, guys, that means it's time for a tiebreaker. Tony Lee will ask a question that probably has nothing to do with anything we've discussed up to this point, and we'll get both of you to answer. The person whose answer is closest to the correct answer will win the tickets, and we will ask Steve first and then Hildy.
Okay. Like the state fair, this involves a tasty treat. I ask you two, how many bananas were used to make the world's largest banana split? How many nanas?
I'll go with the 113.
Okay.
113. I like it.
Like the state fair, this involves a tasty treat.
Oh, Hildy, you got to turn your radio down.
Turn that radio down, Hildy. Okay, did you hear the question?
Yep.
All right, what's your answer?
Oh, no, I didn't hear the question.
Oh.
All right,
You
Hilda.
made her turn her radio down.
How many bananas were used to make the world's largest banana split? How many bananas?
The world's largest banana split. I'm going to say 40.
Hildy says 40. Steve says 113.
Wow.
I'm going to just assume it's going to be tipping towards Steve. The biggest ever got to be a lot of
I
bananas.
think I've made a banana split with 40 bananas before.
What do you got, Tony?
It's a lot of nanas. It's 11,333.
There you have it.
11,333 nanners. That's a whole lot of nature's battery. Potassium and vitamin K, ladies and gentlemen. Right on, Steve. You have won tickets Friday night, the Twins and the Blue Jays. Hildy, you have won our utmost respect and appreciation. And that's not worth nothing. It's not much more than nothing, but it's something. Thank you both for playing, guys. Great job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You got it.
It's like a hug from a stranger at the fair.
Man, a hug from a stranger at the fair.
Right? You ever have any unwanted hugs?
I'll take
We
it.
thought that was be a fun radio stunt one year, just to go and just walk up to people and start hugging them. We thought it would be funny.
Yeah,
no.
It wasn't funny. The second person that I hugged kneed me in the nuts.
Yep.
That's a true story.
Well,
I
that's
guess
funny.
That was funny, but then I was done. I had a swollen right testy.
Yeah, my brother Jim, who was the king of all Gorman shtick, he came to see the Black Crowes in the mid-'90s outside of Philadelphia. Big outdoor show, the Penn Center, an outdoor amphitheater, the Horde Tour. It was a great night. And we were out in the house, and it was my brother, and then a cousin was there, and we were just kind of out in the crowd. One of the opening bands was playing. And Jim being Jim, he just said, okay, he goes... somehow they cooked up a thing where it was like, you got to hug a stranger. There's a lot of hippies walking around. And, a lot of total like trustafarians, as we call them, the trust fund hippies of the day.
They're looking for it. They're waiting for it.
And so here's Jim, who's like a sales director at a company, and then my other cousin, who's like a sales director at a company, and they're making each other laugh. And unbeknownst to my cousin, my brother saw a member of our crew who he already knew, but who had like the dreadlock look going, and Jim just walked up to him and goes, "Hey brother, how about a hug?" And this guy's like, "Sure, man." And they have this big embrace, and our cousin's like, "Damn, I got to go." And he found the biggest, most patchouli out hippie you've ever seen, and walks up to him and he's like, hey, man, can I get a hug? And the hippie looks and goes, get the hell away from me, man.
That's great. Caught him between trips.
That's just fantastic. Yeah, you just never know which way those things are going to go.
No, you don't.
I really like the idea of just hugging strangers at the fair. How'd it work for you?
Not well. Minnesotans don't like to be touched. No one was happier. No one state, I think, was more thrilled with that whole pandemic, no touching 6-foot rule, no handshakes. I think the Minnesotans, they no, don't approach me.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I can see that. Sure.
You're good right there. Let's just stand here and stare at our shoes.
Well, I just figured I'd come out and take a look at you. Well, and now that I've seen you, I'll be going. Yeah, I can see it.
A hug.
I can see that happening. Hey, get ready to rock this Labor Day weekend with 92 KQRS's Mount Rushmore of classic rock. No touching! Vote for your favorite classic rock artists for a chance to win $100 in KQ State Fair merch. Ryder, State Fair merch is pretty on point this year, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You got your camo shirts. You got your high-vis orange shirts. We even have bandanas for dogs. We've got koozies. We've got all sorts of fun
ponchos.
things.
Do we have the ponchos this year?
We are out of the ponchos, actually.
Why didn't I bring it up? We should have talked about it before, but they might have come in handy this week. I bet you could move a few ponchos.
Get $100 in KQ State Fair merch if you win this thing. Check out 92KQRS.com to vote. Again, that's voting for 92KQRS's Mount Rushmore of classic rock, sponsored by Captain Ken's Oven Baked Beans. Oh, yeah, come on. Man, I should really just stop talking about food every morning. I'm just torture myself. Let's talk about a little something else. Wedding photos. We've all endured the process, those of us who've been married. There's at least someone with an iPhone. But, you never expect the wedding photographer to upset the apple cart. You don't normally think that's going to be the case. Well, then you need to stay tuned because we've got an apple cart more than upset from the wedding photographer. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
It is Tuesday, August 27th. That was Dire Straits. Tickets and albums combined, that was the biggest British band of the 80s. The biggest British band of the 90s just announced this morning that they are back next summer. Oasis just put up 14 stadium shows in the UK and Ireland for next summer. Word is they will go around the world after that. I imagine they'll do arenas in the States, but that's stadiums everywhere else. That's what they call a moneymaker.
Sure, you know the guys in the band a bit. Why Oasis? Why that name? Because every medium-sized town in South Dakota, maybe Minnesota too, has a strip club named the Oasis.
Oh, really?
Or a good biker dive bar anyway. There's one in Sturgis.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true, right? The Oasis. You're like, hey, for a good time.
Wow. Fair enough. My favorite, when I first heard about Oasis, 94, they're blowing up in the UK, and then people are saying they're coming to America. It's going to be huge. It's going to be like the Beatles. It's going to be huge. It's going to be like the Beatles. It was 30 years after the Beatles' heyday that Oasis took over. It's been 30 years now. Like in 1994, 1964 felt like 100 years ago to me. You know what I mean? And so, but they were the biggest thing in England since the Beatles. That's safe to say. I'm not comparing them musically, but they were as big to British folks in the mid-90s as the Beatles have been in the mid-60s. And that's like a band showing up right now and then being the biggest thing since Oasis. But I don't think that's really I don't think a rock band's ever going to be that way again. I just can't imagine it. I just think we've gone too far. That genie left the bottle a while ago. But they're going back next year. They're going to play a bunch of shows. My favorite Oasis moment ever was one of the first interviews I ever saw with guitarist Noel Gallagher, who writes all the songs. He was like the brain genius behind the band. And somebody said to him early in their career, said, Noel, define Oasis in one word. And he said, me. And right then I went, this is the funniest guy. And to this day, he's the funniest interview to me in rock history.
I love hearing about their shenanigans. I think I could hang with these guys.
You could do worse than a night out with either of the Gallagher brothers. Right. They are a very good time. Wedding photography. It's one of those gigs that if you're good at it, there's always a new bumper crop of clients every year. You get into the system, and it's like inventing something for babies. babies. There's always new babies. There's always new puppies. Like, come up with a great new toy for a dog or a great new something for babies. And it's just, you're just printing money.
There's one born every second.
Great wedding photographers, same kind of vibe. But there's a guy here in Minnesota, a wedding photographer who's 30, who is now facing charges. What did he do? Who wants to arrest this guy? Well, here's the problem. He was setting up hidden cameras and shooting the brides as they were getting ready, as they were changing into their wedding dresses and such.
It's part of the process, isn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
I remember the day.
Set up a hidden camera a few years ago at a wedding. It was a 27-year-old bride. He recorded her in her skivvies, as they say, and nearly nude. The police were given, this wedding is from 4 years ago. It happened in 2020, but police just found out about it because his wife found a thumb drive with video on it and more sexually explicit material. His wife found it in his stuff and went, "Oh, my husband's a perv." Okay, she turned him in. There are apparently, the police have not said what else is on there, but this was not an isolated incident. The gentleman's name is Mitchell Ringness, and his website is still up there. His wedding photography website still online. And there's a quote where, this is the quote on the page from this guy. And I just want to read it to you and tell me if this is a little fishy. "I'll talk you into having that last mimosa while getting ready.
Yeah, you will.
Grab you some water while we're outside in the sun and bring the calm before you officially say I do." I want to go back to that whole thing about I'll talk you into that last mimosa.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, that's what all your bridesmaids are for, is talking you into having a fun time. The wedding photographer needs to stay out of the getting ready room.
Yeah.
Are you going to put your dress on? Well, hold on. Let's have one last mimosa. One last
spill
mimosa.
that on your. Let me get you out of those clothes. We'll get you something nice. There's such a fine line between smarmy and a perv. Because I read that and I'm like, oh, that's smarmy, but it turns out this guy took it all the way to full-on perv.
It's a slippery slope.
I know this might sound initially a bit distasteful, but a woman, generally, as I've come to understand it, never feels better or looks better than her wedding. Mm-hmm. She's done what she needs to do to get looking her best and feeling her best before her big day. I'm just saying, dude, if you would have pitched it to women like, hey, you're never going to look better, get the husband in there too, or the groom, get all the kids together. Yeah. Let's shoot some fun, sexy stuff that the two of you can enjoy later. Yeah. He might have been able to, really bank on this, but for your own pleasure at home with the wife, not so cool, man.
If you want people to call you the James Brown of wedding photography, then by God, sing and dance. Or I should say the Chuck Berry, of wedding photography. James didn't have the hidden cameras. That was Chuck Berry.
That was Chuck.
I'm getting my Godfathers of Rock confused. Yeah, Chuck Berry was doing the same thing.
I like to take the pictures of. You ever see the Chuck Berry montage poster of all the poop shots he took? Just logs in the toilet. Google it. Chuck Berry poop. Just Google it. Tell you Chuck Berry poop. Google it. Hard to listen to Johnny Be Good after that.
We can take any story and bring it all back to poop on the KQ Morning Show like no one's business.
I mean, life comes back to poop.
That's exactly. Well, it does. I mean, if you're not pooping, you're not living. No, not long anyway.
No, you're right.
Hey, how about this? Did you ever play hooky from school?
Oh, yeah.
See, I did. I went to, my school was too small. You couldn't get away with it.
Yeah, it was a small school, but nobody really cared if we were there or not.
That's the difference.
My dad would keep us out of school to work on the farm.
Strong.
It's like, you're not going to school today. You're going to work. I wanted to go to school. I was a kid that, wanted to be at school sitting down.
Okay. Skunks in South Dakota?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ever get sprayed?
Yes, we have. I just strip down out there. Mom gives you the old tomato
the whole
soup
thing.
bath. Yeah.
I just thought of that because at my school, a kid that lived on a farm walked into the morning assembly one day having just been sprayed, and he still came to school. And he stepped into the high school gym, and the entire gym immediately had to be evacuated. It was that strong. Yeah. And I was like, you jumped in your car and drove here smelling like that.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's potent. That's some mean stuff.
It'll make them paranoid. Is it me?
Medication.
Never been sprayed by a skunk, but I did see my dog get sprayed, and it might as well. It was the same thing. I was close enough to where I was smelling it for weeks. I couldn't get it out of my nose. But Clementine took one right on the snout, man.
Oh,
Just looked like mustard right on her face.
Oh, yeah. When it gets that close,
man.
Yeah, we used to like to go throw rocks at them in the ditch, and they'd get you every once in a while.
That was the one time everybody was at my school where, like every teacher, like you said, no one cared. My school was full of jerks who cared, so you couldn't play hooky. You couldn't take off. You couldn't skip a class. It was such a small place. Anybody was it was just, there was no way to avoid, it was like, where is he? Why isn't someone here?
No secret.
But that was the one time this kid walked in and immediately was told, go home, you're done, get out of here. What the hell's wrong with you? It was pretty strong. And I asked that because a New York City child from Brooklyn specifically, he was reported missing Thursday morning. 9-year-old kid leaves for school, and then the school calls and says to his parents, hey, so-and-so's not here. What's going on? They immediately freak out. They're like, he just walked out of here a few minutes. He just left. School's pretty close. He should have been there by now. He's missing. Parents are panicking. There happens to be a CBS News helicopter cruising around the neighborhood, and they look down, and they're like, hey, what's that on the roof of that apartment building? Yeah, he was just up on the roof playing hooky.
He didn't look on the roof?
The roof of his own home. Well, they saw him leave out the front door. They didn't go up to the top. The kid, the police, the news choppers, they're all in touch. They're like, what's that down there? Playing hooky on the roof of your own apartment complex in Brooklyn. I guess, see, that's inner city living right there. You're in a big city like New York. Yeah, that kind of checks out.
Just went upstairs.
Although, because I'm thinking about it, in my town, if I'd ever climbed on the roof of my house, I could have stayed up there for a month. Nobody would have ever found me. How the hell would you see a kid on a roof in a small town?
I don't know if anyone would have looked for me. Here's the chopper news dude.
So as my pilot Eric Ross and I were circling around the building, we came across a person sitting in a chair over here on the rooftop. When we zoomed in with the camera, it appeared to be the child that fit the description of the missing child. Now, our CBS New York News assignment desk, they called the police department. They sent officers from the 61st precinct up to the rooftop, and sure enough, they found the child sitting in the chair. They gave us a thumbs up as they went down with the child and were able to reunite him with his family just a few stories below.
All right, thanks, Chuck. I guess that's basically everything you just said. Sorry to waste everyone's time.
No, that's quite all right.
Lame piece of audio.
I never lost a kid in a New York City apartment building, but I did lose my dog there once. Fun fact. We moved, Rosemary was very pregnant, and we were moving, or not very, she was well on her way though. And we moved to New York City, to Brooklyn, and we were staying with a friend in Manhattan as we were getting ready to move into our place. And our friend Amy it was an older building, but she had a top floor apartment, and the elevator opened right into her apartment, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, swank.
And we had a 100-pound dog with us staying there, and Amy was gone one day, and then Rosemary and I went to go get lunch, and we left. Well, somebody pressed the top level for the apartment, and that elevator went up there, as far as we know, opened up, and the dog just stepped onto the elevator. Okay, so, but you have to hit a button, so no telling how long Clementine was in this elevator. Well, long story short, Amy comes back in and she calls me and she goes, hey, do you have Clementine with you? I said, no, we're at a restaurant. She goes, the dog's not here. I'm like, the dog has to be there. She goes, the dog's not here. Amy looks over on the balcony, goes out, oh my God, what if the dog jumped off the building, but didn't happen? And then she says, she must have gotten on the elevator. The elevator must have come here. And then we put it together. That's what it was. Like when Amy came home, she probably just walked in there. And then eventually somebody hit a button to call the elevator down, and then the dog's missing. We found the dog in the basement of the building in someone else's apartment. Like somebody had found her and brought her in there. Wow. And I'm searching the neighborhood. We're running all over. She was in the building the whole time.
Yeah.
It was the most stressful 30 minutes of our life.
The heart was a beating.
Yeah, I was preparing for an early delivery. I thought Rosemary was living. She was so freaked out. I was like, oh boy, we're about to have that baby right here.
Can I find another dog that looks exactly like Clementine?
I didn't finish my omelet. Damn it. Hey, I don't have an Alexa at the house. I do have Siri on occasion. I'll look at my phone and I'll say, the only time I ever talk to Siri is when I go, hey Siri, what's this song? I'll say that. Or sometimes I'll say call so-and-so, but look, Siri's listening to me right now. But I don't think about it. You know, when they say like when you get your phone, or like if you're in a car and you have the talk to your car thing, whatever, they give you words to say so that the AI stuff in your life, it wants you to speak in a natural. It doesn't want official, like, hello Siri, please play me this song. They say don't talk like that. Just talk naturally. Use your natural cadence. Your devices will get used to. But I don't have Siri. But I have noticed. I have friends who have, Alexa, and they speak to Alexa like it's a person. Like they very much are like, hi, Alexa. Hey, I was thinking I'd love to hear the Beatles right now or whatever. And I'm always thinking that's weird. And then I just read this. A lot of people say they're extra polite when they speak to Siri or Alexa. And here's why. They think that eventually it might come back on them if they're rude. As in, AI overlords will take over the human race, so you better be polite.
Yeah, it's
This
scary.
is a real thing. It's like a subconscious thing that a lot of us are going through, where we feel like we have to be polite to our devices.
You've been stuck in the city too long, boys and girls. Get out and smell the roses. Take a walk in the country. Go, I don't know, crash a motorcycle or something. What the hell? You're afraid of Siri and Alexa?
I tell you what, man, I don't think I want to survive an AI apocalypse where they're judging us on how polite we were back in the day. I think I would be like, you know what? You're right. I was rude to you.
Checking out.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Take my social security Take my social security number and wreak havoc, Siri. Go for it.
I like they'll be polite to Alexa or Siri under threat, but not to another human being so much.
Right.
All right. We've devolved. It's over, boys and girls. It's been fun.
Our AI overlords. It's just a matter of time, I suppose. Hey, top 5 at 9 coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Tuesday morning, August 27th. We have been with you for a few hours and letting you know that the Minnesota State Fair has not opened yet because of the storms last night. Still trying to get some cleanup, not to mention the storm this morning. However, they just announced, hey, it's 9 a.m. Come on in. They just opened the doors a little later than expected today. So the fair is open. I do believe the rain's behind us, correct?
Yeah.
We got sun coming out, or at least just clouds, no more rain.
Partial clearing, they say, with a chance for another isolated thunderstorm later, which means conditions exist where one could pop up, but nothing on the radar that's red or orange right now. And just think the State Fair has been power washed after the weekend.
Yeah, head on out.
And clean and smells like, summer rain.
Head on out there. Hit the fair, why don't you? Hey, in about a half hour from right now, you know who we're going to chat with on the KQ Morning Show? Johnny Van Zant.
Oh, hell yeah.
Singer of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Cool. Since they put the band back together in 1987, younger brother, of course, of Ronnie Van Zant. They're in town Fridays up. You have got something going on at that gig, correct?
Yeah, our good buddies down there at Treasure Island. We did this last year for the Doobies, and it was a lot of fun. So 4 to 6 p.m. this Friday. Even if you have tickets for the show, make sure you swing by the Parlay Lounge, especially if you have tickets for the show. If you don't, we're going to give away pairs of reserved seats. If you do have tickets to the show this Friday night, ZZ Top and Lynyrd Skynyrd, 3 pairs of Michelob Ultra Zone wristbands, 2 pairs of upgraded seats in the first 10 rows, and a whole bunch of Island VIP pre-party wristbands to give away in the Parlay Lounge, Treasure Island Casino, 4 to 6 this Friday.
Very nice. Very nice. I'd like to say, sure, yeah. I'd like to say, fine, good morning, how do you do to everybody up in Fridley? Friendly, they call it.
Yeah, it is.
Do they call it that?
I mean,
they do.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I thought, am I making that up? No, I don't think so.
I think it's on a sign or something.
Just straight north of where we are, a few piece. Tony, you got arrested in Fridley, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah, I did. Well, I did have a coming. I never learned.
Yeah, it's weird. If you go out to have lunch with Tony, you have to drive around Fridley.
Fridley coppers know me by my first name.
That's a beautiful thing. I do know, here's the one thing I know about Fridley. There's a bar up there called Two Stooges.
Oh, yeah.
Just the two?
Jump. Yeah, you see this. I'm like, Two Stooges. And they got a ton of pool tables. And you could do a lot worse. That's my only Fridley experience. Shooting some stick at Two Stooges.
Sounds like a good day trip, doesn't it?
It was.
After the morning show.
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
So
right
just
now,
Mo and Curly?
I think you get to choose the two you want to. I went with Shemp and I went with Shemp and Larry. Just the two most unpopular. Yeah. Hey, it's time for your top 5 at 9. The things you need to know to get your day up and running. You may have noticed it was pretty hot yesterday wherever you were. You noticed it was really hot yesterday if you were in Preston, Minnesota. Preston, Minnesota, southeastern part of the state, 1,300 people. It's a tiny little town. The dew point yesterday surged to 86 degrees. That put the heat index at 120.
Wonder what that felt like in the trailer. Warm like an oven.
Yowza. 120-degree heat index down in Preston yesterday. If you were there, give us a call. Let us know what happened. 651-989-ROCK. I'll take any phone calls from Preston, Minnesota this morning. That is cooking.
Yeah, those small towns.
Today, huh?
Yeah. That's like when you get your blizzards in your small towns here in the Midwest. Or when you get a heat index over 100 degrees, everyone goes to the same place, the bar. Yep. They've got booze and air conditioning.
In that order.
Yeah.
If you can only have one, take the drinks. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9, a new map of life expectancy from birth in the year 2021. It takes a few years to put these things together, is out. And good news for Minnesotans. As far as the 50 states go, number 6, the life expectancy at birth in 2021, 78.8 years. Yeah. That is number 6. Not far behind the number 1 state, Hawaii, 79.9 years.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Hawaii, you just want to live longer. In Minnesota, you're willing it, as we said earlier, you just want to stick around to see if the Vikes can win a damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, you keep all those pineapples, Hawaii. We got a team we need to see win. I think it is. It's a combination pineapple and just the great weed. My God.
Yeah.
I've actually never been to Hawaii. I've been at the Honolulu airport for a layover once. That's it.
They just go, Hawaii, whatever, man.
No, never spent time there.
Hawaii, you ever been to Voyagers? You ever been up north? Hawaii, who needs it? And then I went to Hawaii and went, oh, it is paradise.
Everybody I know. I never had a single person not named Brady who had trouble in Hawaii. The Bradys, however, whole different thing. Just saying. Maybe.
I did tell the person I was with that don't pick anything up off the beach. She chuckled. I said, seriously, don't pick anything up off the beach.
Yeah. Number 3 in your top 5 at 9, Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolf. One of the absolute faces of the league looking forward. Still a very young man, great ball player. Just got himself a gold medal at the Olympics. But he gave an interview to the Wall Street Journal. He said a couple of kind of funny things. Stephen A. Smith was at a sit-down at a big event with Magic Johnson, and he gave Magic a few quotes from Anthony Edwards and asked for a response. It went like this.
Anthony Edwards just said the other day that there really wasn't any skilled players in the NBA back in the day outside of Michael Jordan. Your response to that, Irvin Magic Johnson?
Well, I don't never respond to a guy that's never won a championship. He didn't win a college championship. I don't know if he even won a high school championship. So,
guess who's been around a lot longer trash talking than Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, no kidding.
Bring gas.
Bring gas.
Magic Johnson, it is worth mentioning. The man won a high school state championship, a college championship, and an NBA championship in 4 years. That's called winning.
Yeah, it is.
What he played 11 years in the NBA. He went to the finals 9 times and won 5 of those. It's all about winning. By the way, Magic Johnson, it's funny when Anthony Edwards says nobody had skill back then. That's all Magic had. He's the slowest, clunkiest, most ungraceful basketball player you'll ever watch, but he was unstoppable. It's all about skill.
If he had just said it, probably. Yeah, right, exactly. And you know what Anthony Edwards should respond to this with? Not a damn thing.
Yeah, exactly right. Go win a title.
Yeah, go ahead and take your whooping and keep moving. Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Number 2 in your top 5 at 9. Nice story out of the Boundary Waters area. A dog went missing after it was a guy was driving with his dog, or a dog owner. They had a car accident. The dog escaped and left and ran into the woods for quite a long while. There's a do we have the? So I just want to cut this. So we had a There's a little bit of audio I want to play for you. I'll give you the story. 55 days, a German Shepherd's out in the woods. 55 days.
Yeah.
And then somebody heard about the story and said, you know what? I'm pretty good at finding dogs. Let me go camping in the area the dog disappeared. Let me see if I can't find this dog. And it was a great result. After 55 days, the dog was found. And if you're wondering, well, how did the dog last all that time? We do have a little bit of an insight into maybe how the dog was able to stay alive.
The retrievers believed Leslie survived on a diet of fish guts and moose poop because the campground was a popular place for people to clean their fish.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
fish guts and moose poop. And then he doesn't return to the moose poop. He just says, it's a popular place to clean your fish. Yeah, I'm really more interested in the moose poop myself.
Yeah, tasty little raisins up there for a German Shepherd, I think, probably. You do it 55 days. That's a hell of a long time.
What's a moose diet?
Well, moose will eat a lot of sage and brush stuff, you know. Okay. Hell, they'll rip bark off things. But yeah, they're just out there. I don't know. They're always standing in knee-deep water, aren't they? Oh, yeah, definitely veg.
They're bloodthirsty predators.
So vegetarians. Okay, so I mean, I can see a dog thinking like, well, hey, man, it's good enough for the moose. And
I think Bullwinkle like the beer every once in a while. But
sounds like it. Number one on your top 5 at 9. Last night, about 97,000 people lost power. They're getting it all back together. The Happy Together tour concert at the Grandstand last night was called off. The park was shut down early. The storm came through with great alacrity. Zepp, your daughter was at the Twins game.
Yeah, she was at the Twins game.
I bet that was a lot of fun, getting everybody up to the concourse.
I'm in Golden Valley on the west side of her by just a couple of miles, of course, from Target Stadium. And all of a sudden, someone shut out the lights outside. I'm like, what's going on out there? You know, I pulled back the blinds and in she rolls. I checked the radar, texted Taylor, are you at the Twins game today? It was hard to believe that my daughter would be outside yesterday with the heat index being what it was, but she was compelled to go. Some friends in from out of town. And she said, yeah, the sirens are going off. I said, yeah, you might want to grab some shelter there, kiddo. At least get into the concourse.
Yeah.
There's a gully washer coming. And it was.
Rosemary and I were watching a documentary, a film called Deep Water, and it's about a round-the-world sailing thing from 1967.
Yeah.
It's stupendous, fascinating story. And you're talking about solo sailing around the world.
It's not Nat Geo, is it?
No. It's so you just got these, well, what you have is obviously crazy people getting on a sailboat like, I'm going to leave England and come back to England.
Unbelievable.
And in the late 60s, not a whole lot of satellite help, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's a riveting story. And as we're watching it outside, all of a sudden, we're watching these guys at these, the Cape of Good Horn and all these treacherous 20-foot, 30-foot, 100-foot waves. And I look outside and I'm like, that's what it looks like right outside right now. That storm blew in fast and sideways.
Yeah.
It was intense, man. So if you, I assume pretty much everyone's got that power back by now, but a rough night for sure. Still some chance of rain later today and for the next couple of days. This weekend's going to be apparently just absolutely spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, if it holds up, let's cross those fingers.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend's going to be pretty sweet. Hey, check this out. Lenny Kravitz, Blue Electric Light Las Vegas takes over Dolby Live at Park MGM this October, and you could be on your way to see the show. Score a trip for 2 that includes round-trip air, a 2-night stay at Park MGM, and 2 premium tickets to see Lenny Kravitz in Las Vegas. Text the national keyword guitar to 95819 right now to enter for a chance to win.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August 27th. That was, of course, Skynyrd. What's Your Name? Lynyrd Skynyrd will be playing Friday at the Treasure Island Resort and Casino with the greatest titled tour in recent memory, the Sharp Dressed Simple Man Tour. Hell yes. Skynyrd and ZZ Top rolling in this Friday night. Zepp's going to be out there for a pre-party from 4 to 6. Johnny Van Zant, singer for Lynyrd Skynyrd since 1987, since the Freebird flew again, is on the horn with us right now on the KQ Morning Show. Johnny, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Man, we're doing great. It is a pleasure to speak with you, sir. For anyone who is unaware, and I can't imagine who that would be, you've been singing with the band since the band got put back together in 87. Originally a tour to pay tribute to the great band Lynyrd Skynyrd. Could you have ever imagined in 1987 this thing would still be going with such a momentum and with such vitality?
I surely wouldn't. I wouldn't have thought. It started out as an 8-week tour, and then we went away from each other for a little bit. I did a record called Brickyard Road for Atlantic during that time, and we just missed each other. It was almost like, to be honest, almost like the crash had happened. Everybody was kind of dormant again, and we said, let's get together and write some songs. So my buddy Ahmet Erdogan, one of the founders of Atlantic Records, gave us a deal, and we put out an album in 1991. Yep. It's called Lynyrd Skynyrd, 1991. And man, we just hit it and kept writing, and we never thought about writing another Sweet Home Alabama or Freebird, but we went, hey, we're going to just write and see if anything sticks.
Sure. Johnny.
And, man, it's been my honor and pleasure. It amazes me. I took a picture of a little kid. He was with his mom and dad right in front of me at one of the shows this year, and he probably was 6 years old, maybe, if that old. But he had on a Lynyrd Skynyrd shirt, and luckily they had headphones on him. But I had to take a picture of him, and because I went, you know what, this little guy loves it. He was just rocking out, and we were in Jones Beach just this past weekend. And there was a kid, I think his parents were all from either Russia or somewhere. They couldn't speak. The parents couldn't speak any English, but the kid, I brought him up on Simple Man because he was so darn cute. But my gist of the story is that I guess if we wouldn't hear playing it, man, those kids wouldn't get to enjoy the music live. And Skynyrd was always a live band,
Oh, yeah.
And just a pretty amazing thing to look out there. There's all different generations,
No question about it. 50 years since the debut album. Last year, the band, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. I mean, I was a little kid when that came out, but it was almost like immediately everywhere. You know what I mean? It was one of those bands that everybody just jumped on board with. When you guys did come back in 87, I'm kind of piggybacking on what you just said. I remember seeing footage and seeing the shows and the love and the impact that music had. It was just so visceral, and it was such an emotional time. It has not changed a bit. All these years later, anytime you see Skynyrd, you have now 4-5 generations of people, it seems like, and it still carries such an emotional punch. When you guys go into a song like Freebird, the lighters come up, but there are tears. I mean, it's still kind of mind-blowing how much that music resonates.
Yeah, my brother, he was from the west side of Jacksonville, but he was a prolific writer for common people, and those songs, each generation have basically hardworking, God-fearing people, and they gravitate towards these songs, and it's just an amazing thing to me. I guess maybe in a few years here, whenever I'm sitting on the porch smoking a big cigar and going, I wonder what the heck just happened.
Yeah.
I might be able to take it all in, but, right now I'm in the middle of it, and we're having fun, and we're out with ZZ Top, too, doing shows, and man, we're just having a good time and carrying on the legacy. We get people all the time going, you're a tribute band, there's no original members. I said, no, this goes way farther than being a tribute band. I said, this is blood, and last year, the year before last, we lost Gary Rosington, and man, before he passed, he had been carrying it on for the guys, along with myself. And he brought me in, and he said, man, I don't want this music to go away after I leave. And that rang true for me, and we'll see how long we go with it, man. But hey, you know what? Right now we're enjoying ourselves, and the fans are coming out, and it amazes me. We just had 2 sellout shows this past weekend. Jones Beach, which is Long Island, up in Guilford, New Hampshire, and just blows my mind. So, I love the fans, and, bands say that about their fans all the time. Oh, our fans are the best people. Our fans are generational. So there you go.
For sure. No, it's really true. I mean, you got, like, to your point about it's not a tribute act. It absolutely isn't that. And with the number of people, I mean, every time I see, if there's a new member of the band, chances are I've either played with the person or at least know them, at least met them. Every time I see a new member, I'm like, oh, of course, that's perfect.
Yeah.
There's so many people that step into those shoes. And trust me, there's not, I mean, I'm talking to our listeners when I say trust me. There's not a tribute. There's a deep respect and an honor, and it's like that's the point of this band to me. It's like, no, this is not just some band called Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is still, in a very real way, Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah, you know what, man? I grew up as a kid. Hell, I can remember the 1%. They were the 1% before they became Skynyrd. And my parents, they couldn't find a place to rehearse, so my dad said, "Set up in the living room."
Hey, well, Johnny,
and I remember watching them, and they wasn't that good back then. But
sure,
hey, it was fun to watch.
I got to ask you, Johnny, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone. I've never heard you speak about this. What was it like to be a teenager and your brother is Ronnie Van Zant? As Skynyrd takes off and they're taking over the world, was that cool? Was it weird? I would imagine you were suddenly. It had to be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I never looked at him that way. I was always like, really? People are getting thrilled about this, I mean, he was the big brother that bullied me and made me the guy that I am, and, they were always, him and Donnie were, I was the youngest of the three, so, man, I was the punching bag. They wanted to make sure I was tough, and knew how to sucker punch.
Yeah. Hey, man, there's a lot of good lessons when you're I can relate. I have older brothers myself. It's not easy, but you do get a heck of an education out of it.
Oh, yeah, you do. But, no, man, I never, even to this day, I never look at him that way. I mean, he was just Ronnie to me, and my older brother, so surely I admire what he did in a short period of time that he was here on Earth. And
but did you get any? But what about the other kids at school? Like, you're walking into school though, and then other people got to be looking at you a little differently all of a sudden.
Yeah, I guess, but I was already in high school, so, I was kind of like, hey, whatever. Okay, yeah, they're great.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Johnny
I
Van
know them. So.
Johnny Van Zant's with us on the KQ Morning Show. Skynyrd and ZZ Top this Friday at Treasure Island Resort and Casino.
Johnny, I don't even know why I never thought about asking this question. I don't know if you've ever been asked it. It just popped into my head when you were talking about growing up with Ronnie as your brother and all those guys in the band that you knew. Was Lynyrd Skynyrd your teacher as well?
No, you know what? He had retired by that time.
All right.
Yeah, and but you know what? He came around, and was there, for different occasions, and heck, he actually became famous here in North Florida. Yeah. Everybody was like wanting to hang with him.
So from your dad's living room to the Hell House, the legendary rehearsal space where the band really kind of figured out who they were and how they were going to sound. A lot of myth around that barn, essentially, the Hell House. And you guys launched your own whiskey called Hell House last year.
Yeah, we sure did, man. You know what? It came into play, and years ago when the band got back together, everybody was still drinking and partaking, and we always used to kid, hey, man, we ought to get our own liquor, we'd save a lot of money. And this came about last year, and we were looking for a name, and I don't even know who the heck came up with it, but they said, what about Hell House? And I said, you know what, if I was a drinking dude and I was at the bar, I'd love to probably say, hey, give me a shot of Hell House. And so it kind of went like that, but the coolest thing about this is that we've been doing a lot of meet and greets, myself and Ricky Medlock. And, man, we go out and we meet the fans, and it's just been a great thing for us because I love the fans. They're me, Yeah. They are us. The only difference is we get up there and sing some songs or myself. and Ricky plays them. And but it's just been a great thing, and I've noticed that the women kind of like it more than the guys. So,
I tell you what, man, I've seen Skynyrd a bunch. The one show that always sticks out the most in the late 90s, saw you guys in New Jersey at the, like where the Devils used to play, the arena up there. I think the Brendan Byrne Arena. And I was at the soundboard and watching and hearing New Jersey accents singing Skynyrd is one of those things I'll never forget. It was the funniest. This is right when the Sopranos had blown up. It was like 99, and I was looking around at all these Tony Sopranos getting their Southern rock on. It was one of my favorite memories ever.
We used the Soprano theme, for our intro at one time because we loved the show so much.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Johnny, Skynyrd and ZZ Top again. The Sharp Dressed Simple Man tour this Friday at Treasure Island Resort and Casino. Johnny, man, it is an absolute pleasure to talk with you. I know the gig's going to be great on Friday. Look forward to it. Thank you for calling in, brother.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Take care and God bless, man.
See ya. What an arrogant rock star he clearly is.
Yeah, what a diva.
Just the salt of the earth, dude. My gosh.
Yeah. It's about as good old boy as it gets. And I'll tell you what, with an outdoor show down there like we've got coming on Friday night, and that forecast, fingers are crossed.
Awesome.
With ZZ Top, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's 100 years of great music between those two. Actually, 105 with those two bands up there. ZZ started in like 69.
Blow out your voice singing along to every song.
Totally insane. All right, let's look back on this day, August 27th, 1921. The owner, J.E. Clare of the Acme Packing Company, brought a pro football team to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And he said, I'm going to pay tribute to my workers, and I'm going to call them the Green Bay Suckers. No, the Green Bay Packers. And they've been a scourge ever since.
Well, I mean,
they played some pretty good football over the years, actually, now that I think about it. Got to give them credit.
You got to give them credit.
Don't have to love them. Got to give them credit.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.